make sure. Yeah, because today's the 8th. So 3 weeks from now, that is the 29th of February, which is a very odd thing to say in general. Which, of course, also means it's the last day of the month, which, with the business I'm in, means that I'll be committed to work that day. So um, I won't be able to play that week. And
Oh,
then
no,
to
no
follow
problem.
up on that, 2 weeks after that, which is March 14th, I will also not be able to play. My new book comes out on Tuesday the 12th, and on Friday the 15th through the 17th, I have the GalaxyCon Richmond convention that I'm doing, and Thursday the 14th is setup day.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha. Okay, then that's well, 29th works great for me. It's my daughter's birthday.
oh, good.
Yeah, and then Roger that on the 14th. I will not be able to play on March 21st. I'll be at Adepticon in Chicago here. But you can feel free to play without me. I mean, Slim,
I
just pull the
forgotten
trigger.
that that's in March. Yeah,
Yeah.
And
cool.
what is that again?
Adepticon is a wargaming, miniature wargaming
Oh,
convention.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I miniature wargaming, about as far as I got into that was BattleTech, which is a huge love of mine.
Oh, very nice. I'm actually signed up for what they call BattleTech Boot Camp, which they're because I've been wanting to learn. So I'm going to take a class on classic BattleTech, and then I'm also taking a class on Alpha Strike.
Mm.
So
Well, it's BattleTech is came from the same company that came from FASA, the same company that invented Shadowrun and the original Star Trek tactical simulator, and they created just an amazing hell of a game that, even though the company that owns it seems to go bankrupt every few years, someone always picks it up and brings it back. It just the only downside to BattleTech is that it's so fantastically complex
yeah,
and battles take forever. Um,
They
you
are
get
really fun though.
They are, but you get one of these grand battles where it's a company of intersphere mechs up against a trinary of clan mechs, and it's like you're going to be there for 12 hours. You just have to accept that it's what it is.
whoa,
So,
awesome.
um, all right. Well, I guess we'll get the ball rolling here.
Hey guys, I want
Hey,
to warn you. My internet has gone down. The neighbor, the internet in the neighborhood's gone down twice this morning, so I'm just warning you
That's
in
wonderful.
advance.
noted.
Roger.
Thank you. Yeah. Should we just, in your absence, he sneaks up on people, kills people?
Oh yeah, attack anybody you want.
Roger that.
Let's see here. So it's been what, 2 weeks since we played. So the story so far, last time we played, you
Marty,
guys, yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, but you didn't give your. I don't know if you're planning on recording. I know you like to record, but I don't. You didn't give your spiel or anything that you
Oh
were.
yeah, nah, it's all right. We'll just move on. No big
Okay.
deal. For all of the four people that watch this, um, the you guys last week you guys went to the safe house, went back with the lemon juice note, and Walter decided to do his psychic thing, which didn't work out. He just couldn't figure anything out, and as we know, there was a complication on that roll. And but Sing, I believe, yeah, Sing, or I think it was Sing. It might have been Slim. I don't remember. One of you guys put the note up to a candle to warm it up so that the lemon juice became visible, and there was a clue that told you to look to the Mexican apothecary's bookshop. There lies the key to unlock the gates of history. And so you guys had to consider what the plan was here, and you ended up going to trying to find this Mexican apothecary's bookshop, which was run by a man named Ernst Prescia. It was, let's see, it was Henry and Singh that went inside and tried talking to him, looking for the key, and you guys quickly came to understand that he is not just a bookstore owner, as he made very clear to you that he wanted Ehrlichman's research, and that was the cost of getting his help. He made a minor demonstration of power, causing a house plant to wilt and die and rot right in front of you. At which point you guys decided to leave so you could figure out what you wanted to do. And as you're standing outside on the street talking about it, it was as if reality itself folded or unfolded around you, and you were in a completely different place. Um, so yeah, that's rattled Singh a little bit with his understanding of the occult. Um, and then what else did you guys do?
We ended in a bar, I think, because Slim was just uh, totally freaked out by this.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Um, oh, and now I'm sorry. Prussia did give you guys a name
A
as
name,
well. He
right?
he told you that he believed that Gotthold Fuchs was responsible uh, for Ehrlichman's death, and he made a comment about Fuchs. Uh, and I'm trying to remember what his exact verbiage was, but it was something to the tune of "the man is not talented, but he's sneaky," something along those lines. So you've got that name to work on. Oh, and the other thing was on the secret note also was the sigil of the Sphinx Reading Club, which Singh knew was is a very well known local occult reading club. And unless I'm mistaken, don't you have a contact? You actually know the current president of it or the
We
current
do.
secretary of it?
Yes.
Wilhelm Seidler,
Seidler.
Seidler, Seed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think it would be pronounced Seidler.
Oh, that's how I spelled it. Seidler.
Yep.
Okay,
Siedler. Seidler.
like in Seinfeld.
Yeah,
Okay, the Seidler. Yeah, he kept sneaking up on Elaine, taking credit for work he didn't do.
that's right.
All
Right.
right.
So yeah, you've got a couple leads there.
So Prescia
Yeah.
also intimated that he is the mentor of what's his name?
Ehrlichman.
Ike, not Ehrlichman. I was going to say
Yeah,
Eichmann.
yeah.
Ehrlichman.
He made a comment to the tune of Ehrlichman's death deprived him of a valuable or not a valuable but a promising what was the word he used?
Protege.
Yeah, that's the general meaning of it. I don't think that's the exact word he used. I'd have to.
I don't remember.
I hate to say I didn't have time to go back and listen to the last video, which I usually try to do. But yeah, essentially that he thought Ehrlichman had some real potential. So
But they worked with each other, like, and they had a relationship of working together, or him helping him, or whatever, right?
correct.
Well, I've been thinking about this, and this is something that Singh would say to the others because it's worrisome. Um, Singh finds it difficult to believe that the woman that we've been dealing with is unaware of this. And so Singh has become convinced that she's playing us, that she's setting us up, uh, because he feels that um, a sorcerer of this magnitude or whatever he is, necromancer, I don't know what, um, like if they really were, if her and Ehrlichman really were a couple affianced or whatever, he finds it very hard to believe that she does not know about this team up.
Slim nods. Are we in the bar or are we back at the safe house?
I'll leave that up to you guys.
Any preferences? I mean, we left in the bar, so uh,
First
maybe
fine, I guess.
okay. And he nods slowly and he says, "That that makes sense to me, sir. Uh, to what end? What could she be possibly getting out of this?"
Yeah, maybe she's, I don't know, maybe she's in cahoots with Prussia. Maybe, as an aside, is she considerably like better looking than Ehrlichman was? Is she like a honeypot? This isn't Singh's characterization. This
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah. No,
Yeah, yeah.
she is very attractive and but in a very classy way, kind of classic movie star type looks, if that makes sense.
So he was fighting above his weight class.
well, possibly. Singh will say the possibility exists that she's an agent for Prussia and was used to seduce or otherwise coerce Ehrlichman. Maybe Ehrlichman didn't even know that.
Well, and you guys do know that she is Abwehr. You know Abwehr. You know she's German intelligence. I I will remind you. Now, this is what she said. You don't necessarily have to believe that. That's up to you. She did say that she while she is a German and believes in German nationalism, she did also state that she had some concerns with the direction of the current regime and its philosophy, whereas Ernst Prussia, on the other hand, was not shy at all about the fact that he supports everything the regime does and stands for. So, just a thought if you get from if that was a piece because that information from her came way back out in the very first session. So,
Well, and remember, our bosses did send us to meet her, so they may not trust her either, but they at least think this is important enough that we should be checking it out. So, um, I agree that at this point we can't fully trust anybody, nor should we. Um,
it's
that's
almost like
just
you're
a
spies or
bad idea.
something.
Well, Mister Baker, you know these Germans. They got more twists than a pretzel factory.
Good one.
They're as crooked as a dog's hind leg. Side note: I've got a big list of these.
Nice.
But he's saying this, and I assume he does not know that Baker, is Baker, or whatever his original surname is.
Well, at this point, it looks to me like our leads are down to a name, which is all we have of this Gotthold Fuchs guy, and then we've got the club and Wilhelm Seidler.
Well, the inspector here seems to know somebody at the club. We could follow up on that.
Well, I think that's got to be our next move. Maybe he has heard of this. Maybe he's heard of this Fuchs guy.
Bully. Let's look him up.
And Slim looks over at the inspector and Baker, and then he says, "So what's my role in all this? Is there a dress code for this kind of club?"
What is Slim wearing?
Oh, that's a very good question. I think it would be very nondescript, slightly sloppy, like civilian. Um, I have to imagine they would have dressed for the occasion, but even so, it's sort of like a little disheveled, not in like a overt way, but maybe he's not all the way buttoned up or something.
Okay, let me talk out a game for a moment. At this time in 1939, Vienna as a city and its inhabitants thought they were really hot shit. Okay, they were mistaken, but as history proved, but they thought they were the real Europe, the real Renaissance of Europe, and all things cultural, all things political. They thought they were the thing, and so most people went around reasonably sharply dressed on a work day.
Interesting.
Other than if you were a true laborer, if you were unloading trucks or cleaning up, you still had a neat appearance, but you wore clothes that obviously could stand up to getting dirty and stuff like that. But if you were just about anyone else, most people were fairly sharp dressed. They took pride in their outward appearance.
Well, it was the third
Just letting you
largest
know.
city in Europe at the time. They thought they were very cosmopolitan. They thought they were the forefront of European culture.
And
So
then we
you
found out
need
through
suit.
history they really weren't. But for right now, I'm just letting you know that if we want to if we want to blend in, that's kind of what the population is looking like on a standard, you know, if this is a weekday where people are going to and from work and shopping and stuff like that, um, it's not tuxedo time, but they didn't wander around in they weren't anyway they weren't generally wandering around in very plain looking ordinary clothes. In
Gotcha.
today's moniker, they didn't hang out wearing polo shirts and shorts and tennis shoes. If you were comparing to today, or even khakis and a polo shirt, they were walking around in, as a minimum, most of the men would be wearing a suit and a tie with a hat, unless you were a laborer or you owned the butcher shop or something like that. So those are the two main categories we're looking at, I think: sharp dressed man,
Or labor.
uh,
Yeah.
or or regular Joe, worker Joe. Of course, if we believe the movies, all the German Secret Service stand out because they're all wearing, black leather dusters and eye patches and stuff.
Wire rim glasses.
Mr. Jones?
Now, what time of day are we at? Because I thought we had gone in the morning to the bookstore, right?
You had, and you probably futzed around a little bit, finding a bar and to help get Slim a drink to chill him out. So it's probably somewhere in the early afternoon, I would imagine.
Okay.
Very early, hopefully, because we got to go to the club. We got to figure out this Fuchs guy. We got to meet with Gisela tomorrow at 9 o'clock, right? Did I have that timing right, or do we
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah,
another?
yeah. In the morning at
Oh,
a market, I believe.
all right.
Okay. Well, we better get Slim buttoned up, and then do you want to hit this book club here in the afternoon?
We have to, and
We talked about this
this
before,
was
right?
this.
About going to his home before we went to the club. Weren't we
Um,
talking
Okay.
about that at
we
some
did
point?
talk. We did talk about going to see him separately outside the club. Yeah.
Yeah, I still feel like that might be a better idea.
Well, we can. It's during the day, so maybe he's at home. If he's not there, then we go to the club, right? He's
Sounds
Khan's
like a plan.
contact, right?
Yes, he's
Sing's contact.
scenes contact. Yep.
So we'll follow you. We'll follow his lead.
Well,
All
in that
right.
case, no time like the present.
All right. Very good. Seeing that Singh knows him, I think it's fair to say that Singh knows where he lives. And I'm sorry, I was multitasking here. I apologize. Uh, Seidler lives a little outside of the city center. Um, he in a nice upper middle class area, to be sure. Reasonably new homes and well groomed yards. Everything is very clean and very proper. His home is a 2-story affair uh, with a Tudor style roof. And who's uh who's knocking at the door? I'm just curious.
Oh, I suppose it'll be Sing.
Okay. All right. Um, After a moment, a young woman uh, opens the front door. She is when I say young, she's probably somewhere in the ballpark of 19, 20 years old, wearing wearing a servant's uniform, and she sees you and her she's visibly taken aback for a moment because seeing you do not look like the average person walking around in Vienna, and her eyes kind of look from your face down to your feet, back up to your face, probably linger on your turban just a little bit, and then sees the rest of you guys, Slim, Henry, and Walter, which Henry and Walter surely probably look a little more like what she would expect in Vienna. Slim's slightly out of place, but not so much as Sing. Um, Says in German, yes, good afternoon. Can I help you?
Uh, he, Sing does not speak German, but can he
Does,
deduce the meaning
does
of
Sing not speak
all that?
German?
I don't believe so. No, he does not.
I thought everybody spoke German in the group. Did I make that
No,
up?
he speaks English,
I speak
Punjabi.
German.
Oh,
And Henry speaks German, obviously.
Right.
right.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, sorry. My mistake.
Well, he'll just blunder ahead anyway. He'll say, Inspector General Singh to see. Oh shit! What was the guy's name? We're seeing
Seidler.
Wilhelm
Seidler.
Seidler.
to see Wilhelm Seidler,
He's
please.
your contact. He's your pal. You should know
It's-
his name, right?
That's
Yeah,
right.
Singh gets around. I can't keep track. His
Um,
nightlife schedule is fully packed.
which what language do you say that in?
Uh, it'll have to be English
English.
because I
Okay,
don't think
very
she
good.
speaks any of the other languages that I speak.
Probably not, but she her brow furrows for a second, squints a little bit at you, and then a little bit of realization comes across her face, and she says something back to you in German. Those of you that understand German understand that she said that Herr Seidler is not here at the moment. Uh, he will be back this evening.
Singh will look to the others for a quick translation.
Yeah, well, Henry will tell you what she said. And Henry will say, she says he's not here. He'll be back this evening. Uh, Henry asks Henry asks her in his German, his near perfect German, with a touch of Berliner. He asks her, uh, "Is he at the club? Well, would you know if he's at the club?"
She says, "I believe he did go to the club this morning."
Well, thank you. You've been very helpful. Sorry to disturb the household at this time.
She she kind of gives a little bit of a shrug and indicates that it's not a problem. And bids you gentlemen farewell, and then closes the door. Get the
All right,
impression that she was probably happy to be out of that conversation.
all right,
Then we're off to the club.
gentlemen. He's at the club. She said he went to the club. That doesn't mean he's there, but I guess that's our next stop.
Yeah, let's go.
All right,
So let's march down the funnel.
march down the funnel. Oh, come on now. It's not. Yeah, it is. Okay, sorry. Um, and again, Singh knows exactly where the Sphinx Reading Club is. It's located uh, within the Ringstrasse near the Ministry of Finance. Uh, you guys walk till you reach the Himmelfortgasse. I'm probably saying that wrong, but it's the Gates of Heaven Street, is what it translates into. It's an old manor house, something built in the probably in the 18th century, prior to 17th century, prior to the. Let me get my time frame right. Actually, it was built just prior to the siege of the Turks. It's one of the older homes that survived, and it's in an older part of the city center. Beautiful, beautiful architecture, very well maintained and kept restored. Uh, there's nobody at the property necessarily to greet you. It's just there's a slate stone path that leads up to a set of steps and a landing, and a very large. I'm sorry. A very large. My brain is working a little slowly this morning. I'm not sure why. I'm sorry about that. Very large set of double doors, made out of wood, perhaps stained oak, and actually iron banded, as if it's something that you might see in a from a medieval castle. Has a pair of very large iron knockers set into it.
Slim's going to pass up that comment, and
Good.
he's gonna
You,
linger. I
you
think
said
behind the
large
gentleman.
knockers.
What knockers?
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, doctor.
So Slim has got his hands in his pocket of his suit, which has since been buttoned up.
All
Maybe
right, hold on. I had a
yeah,
dropout on my internet. We're at the club.
Right.
we are. We're at the door. Yeah.
All right. Who's got the best observation on this team?
Mm.
I know that mine is pretty high. I don't know if it's the best. I
I
have an
think mine.
observation of 3.
Gotcha. I got 2.
I have a focus on instincts, and
So,
observation is
so,
insight, I think.
so if we want, yeah,
Typically,
it's
it's
inside.
insight.
Yeah, my insight's 11, so that's 14 plus a focus.
That's pretty good. I was just wondering if it was prudent if on the way over there we kept an eye out to see if anyone was following us.
It's a good idea.
Now, theoretically, we're okay at the safe house because of the truth, but we went to the guy's house and then we went to the club, so we could have picked up a tail at the guy's house. Just wondering. Don't know if it even matters. Of course, if we do an observation roll, we risk a complication. Is that correct, Mr.
Always.
MVP?
Always.
Well, we could just assume we were followed.
Yeah, what difference does it make right now? We don't have anything juicy to worry about yet. All right, let's get on with it. Sorry for that interjection. It's just something to keep in mind as we're wandering about whether there's a prudent time to check for tails.
Who'd
I
like
Oh,
like to
there's
to?
think that.
nobody about though that we can see without doing a check.
I mean, it. No, I mean just the basic fact is you're in the city in the afternoon and there's people about. I mean, if you wanted to actually see if somebody's following you, that would be an inside observation roll with sight or instincts as a focus.
Nah, I'm just gonna knock unless the others have an objection.
No, let's get on
Oh
with it.
come on,
We'll keep it in mind,
give me
but
a
let's get on.
complication. I'm up to
Give you
eight
more.
threat. I
Give
need
you
more.
more threat. No thanks.
At
No thanks. We have to pay for that. All of it.
At once.
Yeah, it's gonna be painful. No, I'll just knock.
All right. The the iron rings boom through the door. You hear it echo into a large space behind. And after a moment, a middle-aged man in a well-tailored, very nice suit opens the door and he looks at this crew of gentlemen, including the man wearing the turban, and of course he says in German, uh, "May I help you?"
Um,
Yes. Good
Henry,
morning. Do you speak English,
he's
sir?
He just kind of looks at you for a moment and says nine.
Then I shall defer to the others.
all right. Henry will speak up. We, my esteemed colleague here, who obviously doesn't speak German, is friends, acquaintances with Wilhelm Seidler, and has come a long way to Vienna to see if he could meet with him and relive some and discuss some previous correspondence. We were wondering if he was here today.
He's he's looking at you, and then he's looking at Singh as you speak. He's got a bit of a disbelieving look on his face, shall we say. Why don't you make a roll, Mr. Baker, um, of will and persuasion? And I don't know what focuses you have in persuasion.
Deceive.
Well, you're not deceiving,
No,
so
not at the
so
moment.
now just make a will persuasion roll.
Will skill is persuasion. No focus supplies. Difficulty one.
Um, yes, difficulty one. Sorry, like I said, my brain's not full force this morning. One success by the skin of your teeth. Um, so after a moment, he says he pulls the door open and he says, "Please step inside. I will go find Mr. Seidler or Herr Seidler."
All right. Henry looks at the guys and in we go. Walks in.
Um, he says as you guys enter, he says, "Please wait here." You're in a large, wide hallway. Uh, Vaulted ceilings over top. There is a there's a set of stairs that go up to a second level on either side. Further down at there's a red carpet runner that runs down the middle of the hallway, and towards the end is a large open doorway that even from here you can see goes into some sort of library, perhaps. Um,
Are
uh,
looking? Are we looking at Are we looking at wood, and millwork everywhere, or are
Oh
we looking
yeah,
at plaster and millwork? Oh,
yeah.
it's
No,
wood.
it's all wood. Yeah, it's lots and lots of wood.
Very woody.
Um, there's a sitting room to the left with a number of a number of people in it having some sort of discussion, unless you're listening in, obviously. But there's also a small desk right there with a woman probably in her 30s that seems to be going through some amount of paperwork. After a moment, the doorman appears, and with him, he has an older gentleman. And when I say older, we probably say elderly. Of course, this isn't surprising to Sing. Sing's aware that Herr Seidler is approaching 70. He has thinning, snowy white hair and an incredibly trim goatee. He's wearing a tweed suit, which is seems to be a little bit out of costume from what you've seen in Vienna. But he's wearing a very comfortable keen tweed suit. He's not very tall, 5'5" or so. As he is approaching, he has a look of consternation on his face, following the doorman. But when his eyes light on Sing, or he that kind of chases away, and he gets a smile, and he says in English, uh, "Mr. Singh, how pleasant to see you again. What brings you to Vienna?" And he comes and he holds his hand out.
Ah, Herr Seidler, the pleasure is all mine. Sing will proffer his hand.
All right, he takes it, and it's a warm handshake among from between two guys who've known each other on some level. Uh, he says it's you've come quite a long way from India, have you not? And who are these gentlemen?
Indeed, indeed I have. These are my associates. I find myself here in Vienna on business, and of course I took the liberty to drop in on you at your home, where your servants informed us that you were here. I hope that my presence is not disturbing you today.
Not at all, not at all. You're simply distracting me from minutia of ledgers, so I'm all the more happy to be relieved of that duty for now. Uh, what sort of business brings you to Vienna? And he kind of leans in, lowers his voice a little bit. He says, "There are many people in Vienna on business as of late."
Well, my presence in Vienna is official in my capacity as Inspector General, so please forgive me if I'm not at liberty to discuss the details. But as I stand before you, this is purely a personal call.
Ah,
Tell me, is this a new venture for you?
uh, he he kind of lets out a breath and says, "Well, I've been a member here for quite a long time, but 2 years ago the club needed a new secretary, and they asked me to take over. It's a wonderful way to spend my time since I no longer work, and it gets me away from my wife, of course, who would not approve." And he kind of tugs on his tweed suit a little bit.
So Henry says in German, Herr Siedler, so Seidler, it's so nice to meet you. Maybe you could show us around the place a little bit as the new secretary. Uh, Maybe to someplace a little more private.
He says, "Well, I'd certainly love to give you a tour." He he says, "Of course, this is a members only club, but uh, uh, we'll shall we say we'll treat you gentlemen as having a guest pass, being a guest of my own. So he starts to he starts to slowly walk through the hall, and he's talking about the history of the building. How it survived the Turkish siege, and the renovations and the upgrades that have been done over time. And he's very knowledgeable about the history of the manor house. He points out the different rooms as you guys pass. The sitting room, and the various places people have discussions. They're uh, he talks about the library, and which is at the end of the hall, takes you to it. And the library is an immense place. It actually is floor to ceiling. It obviously occupies while the house has a second level, it obviously occupies the second level as well. It's just a huge open room. The ceiling is 25 feet overhead, with large skylights at the top, and floor to ceiling bookshelves. Uh, he says, "We have so many ancient manuscripts here, and some which are copies. Of course, we don't. We ask that the members not handle anything themselves. Whatever works they want to see will be brought to them, and they must handle them the proper way." Um, he points to the he points to another side room and says, this is a private study for our members. Every member, as part of their dues, maintains a desk which they can keep their research within, should they so desire. And unfortunately, I can't take you upstairs right now. The upstairs is our shall we say, our private museum, and at the moment it's closed. Perhaps another time.
I have a
Indeed.
question outside the game. Did we ever discuss whether Seidler was, if he was had a PhD? Is he a Doctor Seidler, or is he just Air Seidler, or Air Doc? Or yeah, is he a doctor, or not?
You know what? That I don't believe that ever was discussed.
It wasn't.
No. Uh,
Someone would know.
yeah, Singh would know. Seidler is not a doctor by any sort of official education. He's
Okay,
actually a businessman, um, who has who turned a passing interest for antiquities into a passion as he grew older.
okay. I I just want to make sure I address him the right way.
Oh, no problem.
If he had a PhD, then the proper term of respect would be Air Doctor.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So back in the game, Henry's taking it all in, and he looks at Seidler and says, "So your members use all of these great documents and tomes for research. Do you ever have anyone outside the club request time with your documents? Do you ever let others do research here?"
Not without a referral from a member. And the members understand that they are held accountable should anything befall any materials, uh, uh, while being handled by this outside individual. Certainly, we have academics from universities around the world that sometimes want to look at a particular item that we have here. If a member will give them that referral, then they're welcome to study inside the club.
So during all this, Slim, I think he's kind of hanging back from the inspector and Baker, who are taking the lead here on the conversation. And Slim is like sort of wide-eyed, out of place. He's never been in this sort of establishment. He's very interested in every little knickknack on the shelf. Um, Fascinated by all the books he passes. I have this image of, like, the Seidler's like leading them through on this tour, facing forward and talking about how not to touch anything, and Slim is like inches away from grabbing a book and then like pulls back. Uh, but at some point while they're having this conversation, I think Slim wants to keep an eye on anyone who might be in the vicinity, or like the other goers in this club, to see if there's
Sorry, guys, I'm
anything of
getting a
note.
phone call. BRB.
Go ahead. Okay. That's a very valid statement, Slim. Why don't you make an inside observation roll?
Okay.
And if you have a sight focus, you can use that.
Okay.
Two dice
Uh,
difficulty one.
Difficulty one. Okay.
Whoa!
Wow. All right.
Look at that. All right.
Wow.
So you have that gives you guys two momentum, obviously, which is your first momentum of the day. Congratulations.
Awesome.
What was your target number? I'm just curious.
Target number, that would be, um, let's see. So I've got insight of 10, observation of 2,
So your target number was 12.
12. Yeah,
And
no
oh,
focuses.
you rolled a 9 and then you rolled a 1, which gives you two successes on the 1.
Gotcha.
So,
So like a
wow.
critical. Okay.
Jeez. Um,
Look at the big brain on Slim.
that's right. That's right. Because of the metric system? Anyway, sorry. The so there's some passing interest, from some of the members. The place, let's be blunt. The place is not extraordinarily hopping. There's probably only 8 or 10 people here total, and it's a very very large house. Like I said, an old manor estate type place. There were a few in the sitting room talking. There were a couple in another room that were having coffee. There's probably one person working in the library. As well as the club employees, of which there's only a few, right? Seidler, the lady at the front desk, and then the doorman or butler or whatever exactly he is. However, there was one individual that caught your eye, uh, and it seems like as the team moves through the house, and Mr. or Herr Seidler tells you about the house and its history and what this room is for, and when this room was originally remodeled, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It seems like this one individual is never far away. He's wearing a very well tailored black suit. He's average height, very thin. Has his keeps his hair is almost black, or at least he's using some sort of oil or something that slicks it back so that it looks black. Uh, and he like I said, he always seems to be not terribly far away. And probably the second or third time you notice him, he's reached into his suit jacket, and he's pulled out a cigarette case that he seems to just flip open and close repeatedly, but he never actually pulls a cigarette out of it.
I see. And so he's trying to be inconspicuous, sort of shadowing us through the house, through the tour.
Yeah.
All right. So I think what Slim would like to do is to linger further and further behind, like have an excuse to like get caught up in looking at trinkets or small statuettes or whatever. And I think what he would like to do is draw the attention of this guy, and maybe get into a conversation
Okay.
if possible, while
Sure.
while while the tour is moving on. To kind of like keep him away
We can
from
do
the.
that. Absolutely. So let's uh let's play that out for a moment. As the tour moves on, we'll say as it gets to the library, which is towards the back of the first floor. So at that point, he would have shown you, most of the first floor. Um, uh, how do you want to handle that?
So, I get this maybe the image of like him in this hallway, and he's like looking at like some kind of exotic statuette,
Sure.
and and maybe this guy is in the periphery, and he looks left and watches Baker and Singh kind of walk down the hall with Herr Seidler. He looks right at this guy, and he like feigns a quizzical look,
And
and
as a side note, we're gonna call it a small statue of Odin. How about that?
Odin. Okay, all right, and so Slim like scratches his chin, and he says, "Well, well, howdy, friend. You know anything about this thing? I never seen anything like it before."
And you're speaking in German with your Texan accent.
That's right. Yeah.
He he kind of raises his eyebrows for a moment, and he steps over to you and says, in a very uh, non-accented German, says, "Well, this, my friend, is a statue of the god Odin."
Odin. Is that like it's like a Viking thing, eh?
He raises an eyebrow and says, "Yes, I suppose you might say that. Uh, what your German is most fascinating. What part of Germany are you from?"
Sir, I'm from out of town. I'm just the driver here for my friend. We howdy, but we ain't shook. And he extends his hand to shake the man's hand.
He he looks down at your hand for a moment, then he takes
Hmm.
his cigarette case and he snaps it shut, slides it into an inner pocket on his jacket, and he reaches out and he takes your hand. Um, Not aggressively, a little. I would almost define it as careful.
Gotcha. And Slim shakes his hand vigorously, and he says, "My name's Hughes, Valentine Hughes."
He says, "It is a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Hughes. My name is, or I guess you'd say Herr Hughes. My name
Hmm.
is Gotthold Fuchs."
Oh wow! All right. uh,
What brings you and your, well, you said you were the driver, so I suppose what brings you and your employers to Vienna?
I'm just local hire for Mister Singh here. Apparently, this is a bit of a personal call. I've never been in a place like this before, Herr Fuchs,
Ah,
and
the tall man with the curious headwear knows Herr Seidler.
that's correct, sir. I don't know where he's from.
Well, Herr Seidler's from Vienna.
Oh, Herr Seidler. Yes, I thought you were meaning Mister Singh, and and
Surely he. um. All right. Make an observation roll. So I guess inside observation.
okay.
You guys do have two momentum. As a side note. So if you wanted to buy an extra die, you could do that for one.
Difficulty two or difficulty one rather.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I'm gonna use the momentum. I think I'm feeling okay about this roll.
All right.
So,
Oh, look at you.
wow.
Look at you. Um, he gets, and as a side note, real quick, to answer the question in chat, I don't think that this is really kind of a Slim's being particularly stealthy in what he's doing. So I think you guys are probably aware that he's talking to someone down the hall as you guys enter the library.
Yeah,
Um,
because he was behind us, so
yeah, yeah. So
I'm just thinking one of us would have to like turn and notice that, hey, Slim's way back there or something. Okay,
yeah,
I was just wondering.
I think you guys probably are aware of it now. How much of concern you have about it's up to you. Fuchs, he gets he gets an expression on his face that you would probably you would probably ascribe to someone with indigestion, and he makes the statement, uh, well, most surely from India or some place like that.
Well, yeah, I don't know anything about that. I guess it all pays the same, sir. And he says, "Hey, say you got a smoke?"
He he says, "Why, yes, I do. There's no smoking inside the club."
Oh, oh, okay, all right. Well, you know, I'm just a little nervous. I'm not really the gentlemanly type, so you know, I meet a man such as yourself, and you know, I got those nerves.
Says, "I don't think there's much need to be nervous around me. If you prefer, we could step outside if you would like a cigarette."
Well, I suppose I could bum one off Mr. Singh when I catch up to him. Well, it was mighty fine meeting you, Mr. Fuchs, and and he says I better go catch up to my employer.
He he uh, he says, "It was a pleasure, I'm sure."
And I don't know, maybe they exchange another handshake, and Slim meanders off towards the group.
All right, all right. Fuchs stands there and watches for a moment, and then he turns and heads to another part of the house.
All right. When I do return to the group, I'm going to try to catch Baker's attention while Singh is talking with Seidler. Whenever that happens.
Okay. Um, Yeah, well, Seidler was just giving the tour and everything. You come in there in the library, and he's talking a little bit about some of the manuscripts that they have. They have a many originals. They have a number of illuminated manuscripts and tomes, that type of thing. They've got of a wonderful set of Gnostic Gospels, and they have uh, not to mention their oh shoot, what are they called? I'm sorry. This is where I don't know why I'm having such a hard time thinking right now. Oh, and they have a wonderful set. It's a copy, of course. It's not original because who has originals? But they have a wonderful set of somewhat incomplete Nacotic manuscripts that are very popular. And anyway, he's talking about all that as you walk into the library.
All right. I sidle up to Baker, and when I get a moment to get close to him and sort of like,
Yeah, Henry
yeah,
leans in because he noticed you were down the hall. Uh, Making friends there, Slim.
Mr. Baker, that would be Herr Fuchs in the dark suit down there.
Uh, how did you? That's amazing. That's amazing that you would just happen to meet Fuchs. Um, how'd you manage to run into that guy?
Well, sir, that would be my mighty powers of observation. And he smirks a little bit, and he says, "But you know what? He told me there was no smoking, so I told him I'd catch up with him later."
Seidler speaks up and said, "Yes, Mr. Fuchs is quite right. Obviously, with the with the obvious age and sensitivity of much of what we have here. There's no smoking inside. Mr. Fuchs is one of our new members. He shows much interest in what we do here. He came highly recommended, and he joined us a few months ago.
Well, he's a very sophisticated man. I enjoyed our conversation. Taught me a little bit about that little Viking feller you got over there.
Little Viking feller.
Yeah, the one-eyed bloke with the beard.
He says, "Oh, you're referring to Odin."
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a wonderful, wonderful sculpture that was actually made by one of our members. She donated it very kindly. It makes a wonderful piece in the hall.
It's mighty fine, and and he's looking uncomfortable.
Seidler gets a little bit of odd smile and says, "Yes, yes, it is."
Well, speaking of members, um, Herr Seidler, would you happen to know? Would you happen to know Dr. Botho Ehrlichman?
Seidler, his head kind of tips backwards for a moment, and he gets a kind of a grim look on his face. His voice drops a little bit. He's already a soft man, soft-spoken man to some extent, but his voice drops a bit more and says, "Yes, yes, of course. I know Dr. Ehrlichman. He's a member here. Was. Why do you ask about Dr. Ehrlichman?"
We we've just taken a recent interest in his work, and say he was a member here. Did he quit?
Um. Okay. Make a will persuasion roll with a deceive, because you have focus and deceive, do you not?
I do.
Make a will persuasion roll, and your focus and deceive applies. Make it difficulty 0 because it's going to be a contested roll. There we go. I have one success, and you have one success.
Mm.
Um, so he looks at you and he says, "Dr. Ehrlichman recently passed away." And then he tilts his head slightly and says, "But I think you already know that."
We do. We just didn't think it was well known throughout his particular community. Apparently, we were wrong.
He says, "Well, news travels." Uh, Sharifi looks at you. He says, "Is this the nature of your purpose here in Vienna, Mr. Singh?"
Sorry, it took me a second here to, for some reason, D20 wasn't responding to my clicks. Yeah, Singh will, in a if slight conspiratorial gesture, he will take, what's his name again? Seidelman? I
Seidler.
get these names confused. Seidler, sorry. He'll take his arm and like kind of usher him off to the side. Please understand, Herr Seidler, if I can't be completely candid with you, I am bound by my oath of duty. But I shall say that this. What is wrong with me, Doctor? Eichmann,
Ehrlichman.
Ehrlichman.
Ehrlichman. Jesus Christ, I got to write these down. Ehrlichman. Yes, I'm investigating a matter in which this Dr. Ehrlichman may be involved.
Hmm. Well, that's most disquieting. Dr. Ehrlichman was a dedicated academic. I am concerned about anything he might have been involved. He of course hadn't yet begun to dabble in occult forces such as you or myself, but I'm certain he was headed that way. I,
Hmm, that's most edifying. Is there any other details that you can supply regarding his work or the direction you think his work may have taken?
no, I
Did he
didn't.
maintain a desk here, perhaps?
He did. I did not pry. I don't make it a point to pry into the affairs of our members unless there's some uncertainty or concern. But he did maintain a desk here. I he when he says that, he kind of glances over to one of the side work rooms, one of those rooms that has several desks set up in it. But I'm afraid it might be an invasion of his privacy. Should I show it to
Well,
you?
certainly that would be true if he were alive, but seeing that he has passed through the veil, I wouldn't think that we'd be invading his privacy, such that at this point he has little need for privacy. Don't you think, Doctor? Herr Seidler. Uh, we would like to see this. We are interested in his work. We're also very interested in his passing and what might have happened. We're not totally convinced that he necessarily died of natural causes. And we are also concerned about the fallout it might have on those around him, those he might have worked with, and establishments he might have frequented. So,
Make a
any help?
reason. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Make a reason persuasion roll with a difficulty one.
Ooh, reason not so good.
Well, you made a logical argument, so that's why I switched it from reason to will, or from will to reason. You guys do have two momentum if um, you do have two momentum if you wanted to buy a die for one. I don't just putting it out there for you guys.
Feel
What do
free
you
to
guys
spend
think?
whatever. Yeah, spend it.
Yeah, because all right. So that what does that do? That gives me an extra
That
die.
gets you up to three dice because the first die you buy costs one momentum, which
All
leaves
right.
you guys with one.
All right. So dice would be three. Skill is persuasion. Focus does not apply because I'm not trying to deceive him. And difficulty one.
Correct.
Submit.
Two successes, giving you
There
back
you
the
go.
momentum you spent. So,
Oh, I like how that works.
yeah. Um,
Hey, guys, I have to log off, restart my computer, and come back. It's starting to crash. I'm having some computer problems lately. I'll be right back.
All
okay.
right. Why don't we take a quick break? I want to get a cup of coffee.
All right, we can do that. Yeah,
All right.
we'll give you a minute to come back, Sharif.
Sounds good. All right, I have returned.
Yep, I'm here. We'll give Sharif another
I'm
minute
here
or
too.
two.
Cool.
Hey, Marty, remember I told you I humped all those boxes of flooring into my house?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm so deadly sore. My hip flexors, of all things.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Just getting too old for that. Those boxes are about 50 pounds each.
Yeah, it's a lot of a lot.
There were 22 of them.
Oh,
The big thing is the flooring installer is supposed to bring them, but they're short-handed this week, and they
every
need to be in your house a week, between 1 and 2 weeks before they install it. So if they couldn't bring it, we would have had to move the install date. At least I'm not getting on my hands and knees and installing it myself. Those days are over.
yeah, everybody's short-handed all the time though. I'm really just tired of it.
Seems like a universal excuse. Getting What's bugging me is you're paying more money for shoddy work that never would have been acceptable before. If you tried to get stuff delivered, half of it comes broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that experience with with furniture. They delivered a dresser and it was all smashed up.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Um, I did a renovation on the house over last winter, and I had two bathroom vanity tops delivered. Both of them were smashed. We had video of the delivery guy basically putting them on the gate, lowering the gate, and then just letting it drop to the driveway.
Oh, jeez.
Now it's all in styrofoam and wooden crate, but it's a marble top. So where's the crack? Along the
Right,
grain.
right.
Twice. That was it. I got my money back, but it delayed my project for 6 weeks. And then the flooring we got for that, we ordered, and when it came in, there were 6 boxes where the flooring was completely destroyed. I had to order 6 more boxes because the ends were all smashed up.
Are these just like third party freight guys that are
Yeah,
delivering the stuff? Yeah.
yeah. When you order from what happened was a lot of these companies had trouble get with their normal freight guys because of COVID and other stuff,
Okay.
and so these companies started reaching out to other delivery outfits, and these outfits were just, they just didn't care. They were just flinging stuff off the back.
Yeah, whenever I get something, it's usually, you know, two random guys with like a truck rented from Enterprise that show up with whatever.
Yeah.
So,
So I went through a lot of that stuff. Just broken, send it back. Get another one. Broken, send it back.
is your renovation done anyway?
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Finally?
Finally, yeah, we got done. It was a little bit late, but I had built a lot of float into the schedule, so it turned out okay. It was
Good.
done in time, and then now we're now we're doing the next steps. I've got this one room. We had hardwood floor that came up into the great room, and then the great room was carpet. And people who visit the house spill crap all over the carpet, and as much as I tried to keep it clean, they just ruin it.
Uh,
So I'm changing that out, putting the hardwood in. Hmm. I'm wondering how long it takes to restart a computer.
Well, he's been having some issues. He had to have his computer worked on quite a bit. Um, so I don't know, getting a bit nervous.
My biggest issue with my laptop is the graphics card. You know, you buy a machine with a really nice graphics card, one of the top of the line, and within 3 years, you're middle of the line, and 3 years after that, you're sucking air. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it didn't help for a long time. The crypto guys were sucking up all the good cards, so they were super expensive.
Absolutely, if you
Yeah.
So,
could even find one. And then when COVID hit, getting a video card was almost impossible for about 6 months or a year.
yeah, I remember that. I was not in the market at that time, but I was hearing from everybody they couldn't get anything.
Yeah, what little production there was pretty much being sucked up by the new PC production.
Well, and you guys are PC gamers, right? You're into would you say like tanks or something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
different stuff.
Right on.
Well, and that's the big thing is now my card playing World of Tanks, for example, there's some graphics that tax the card, and so when something especially complex begins, the fan on my computer turns on to cool the card. Well, it turns out in World of Tanks that always happens right when my tank explodes. So whenever the fan turns on, I go, "Oh no!" and then blam, I'm dead.
That's awesome.
It's kind of brutal. Oh shit! Wang. But it's funny how it anticipates when it starts seeing the activity go above a certain level. The fan turns on in advance to try and cool it. Um, Now I help some of that. I've got a cooling pad that it sits on with fans that run, so that helps out a lot. But I think it's just time to get a new graphics card. The
Are
only
you,
issue is
are you playing on a laptop or a desktop?
I'm on a laptop,
Okay.
so I want to get a new graphics card. It's just that, well, Marty knows I've had desktops and I've had no problem going in and adapting them, same as him. But with a laptop, I'm not as confident taking opening up a laptop to replace a card in a laptop, but I don't necessarily want to take it to a place and drop it off because my laptop has um, sensitive information on the drives.
Sure, sure.
These people who take their computer into the local Joe to have it fixed and leave it for a couple days, I'm just wondering, how do you do that with any sense of security, and trust? You better know the guy really well. So that's my conundrum.
That's why all my important stuff is on my flash drive.
Well, that's a good point. I could back up and erase. That would be the simple thing. Or I could just bite the bullet and get a new laptop. It
Well,
has been a while.
and you have to look to see if your laptop is even upgradable because I had two HP laptops over the years that uh, did were not upgradable in terms of their video cards. It's hardwired into the motherboard, so
Hmm.
you're stuck with it. It is what it is. Getting a little worried about Sharif here.
I
Yeah, we're
know it.
getting light on players.
Let's shoot him a text.
Yeah, because the next steps are going to be important for him to be there. It's already a little bit of a disadvantage with Jim not here. So, Kyle, how's the weather in Chicago?
It's warming up. I was just looking. We've got some kind of extreme weather alert for supposed to get storms and warm weather tonight, which means somebody's getting a tornado. I bet.
Mm.
Eh,
So it's been real unseasonably warm. Other than there were like 2 weeks that were cooler, but I don't
well,
know.
virtually my entire family has left Chicago now, but my brother Tony is still in Yorkville.
Oh, okay, that's not far from here. Yeah,
Yep,
I
still hanging out in Yorkville.
haven't been to Yorkville in
Well,
quite
it's
a long
kind of in
time.
the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I used to live in DeKalb,
Oh
so
yeah.
yeah, I was out that way.
He said he's trying to get back in now.
Okay.
Were you from Chicago then?
Well, I was born in Indiana,
Okay.
but we lived in Lake Zurich. We lived in Naperville. I went to high school down in Bradley, Illinois, down in Kankakee, Bradley, Bourbonnais, or on I-57.
Oh,
But
I was
there you
just down there the other day, driving through Kankakee.
I went to U of I in Champaign.
Oh, right on, right on. My brother went there for engineering, so great school.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just in Champaign last weekend playing. So small world.
Guys hear me okay?
I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
He lives.
Yeah,
We
I've
saw
got some
Khan
bad
collapse
news.
to the ground, and then he
Nice.
stood back up.
My computer is I think has just days to live. I think
Mm.
there's some kind of memory leak issue. I don't understand exactly what's happening. My system memory is maxed out at 100%. Like my C drive performance is maxed out at 100%, even though this is the only application that's running.
Oh.
It's been doing this now for, I've been having problems with it for the last 3 months, as you know, because this happened before. But now it's gotten, like, I thought I fixed it, but now it's back and it's way worse than before. And it's sort of insidious because it'll start happening almost immediately after the computer is on, but the symptoms get progressively worse the longer it goes on. So like right now, just roll 20 is taking up about 20% of my CPU resources, and that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it
You know,
is.
like there's no way that that should be like that. So I don't know what's going on. After a while, like you guys will start to stutter, and I'll start to like hear every other word that you say, and that's when I had to like restart. But it took me this long. It took me about 5 minutes just to get back to desktop, and then it took me at least 5 or 10 minutes to get back into this lobby. Like loading into this lobby took at least 5 minutes. So
Oh
I don't
wow.
know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hang or not. I'm going to try. Yeah, this is very frustrating. I don't know if it's coming from my motherboard. I don't know if it's coming from my graphics card or from my memory sticks. One of them or both of them could be giving me problems. I really don't know what the heck's going on.
Yeah, and the problem is, what are you going to do? Just sit there and throw parts at it till the problem fixes itself? You could get to the point where you've basically built a whole new computer.
Yeah, yeah, that could be. Yeah, it's not like I have another graphics card laying around that I can throw in there to see either, or a motherboard or RAM for that matter. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Anyway, sorry for the delay.
No, you're fine, man. It happens. So Baker made his persuasion roll and
Okay, cool.
was successful. And because you had said to you had asked Mr. Seidler if with Ehrlichman being dead, is it really an invasion of his privacy? Essentially, um, so he kind of nods a little bit and says softly, "Come right in here." And he heads off to one of the two side rooms off of the library. This room's got 5 or 6 desks in it. Uh, and they're just they're plain wooden writing desks with lockable compartments, matching chairs. They're very Spartan, very utilitarian, um, and there's name placards on each one of them. And he kind of lays a finger on one. He says, uh, "Dr. Ehrlichman worked here. Give me a few moments. I'll retrieve a key."
Is Fuchs still in the vicinity?
No, he kind of wandered off.
Gotcha. Mission accomplished.
All right. So while he's retrieving the key, I'm assuming he left the room to go find
Yes,
it. If we look around, what are there? I'm assuming the placards on some of the other desks have names on them.
they do. Every one of them has a name. In fact, uh, uh, none of which mean anything to you, except for the one on the opposite wall, uh, behind Ehrlichman's, that says "God hold Fuchs."
Of course.
I know you're shocked.
Um, Gentlemen, uh, Slim, if you'd be so kind as to watch the doorway and let me know when Herr Seidler returns.
Roger that, Mr. Baker.
I'm going to take a look at the desk. Fuchs' desk. Is it locked? Duh.
It is.
Of course it is. Um, if I got to see what kind of tools I have. I forgot what tools I have. Uh, I have burglar's tools. Does that mean I would have like a lockpick in there?
Correct.
So I could use. I get three uses of that minor. It's like those are minor tool. That's a minor item. They're tools. Do I always have them, or do they have uses?
No, it's
Can
a
I use
three
them up?
use item.
A free use.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So
once you use all three, it's gone. What it does is it
three use.
reduces the
Right.
difficulty by one on any
Right.
roll.
Okay. So I'm assuming that would be agility
Yeah.
to try and pick the lock on his desk would be agility.
Yeah, agility with doo, 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 doo.
I'm looking at skills.
Well, what am I doing? The book should tell me what it takes.
Oh,
Give me
yeah, that
one
would be
moment.
good. Hmm.
Well, you would think it does.
Well, it's not clear to me looking at the skills which one would apply.
No, no. For a lockpick situation.
Huh.
Well, there's an argument that it perhaps. Oh wow. Let me get your gentlemen. What do you guys think? I mean, we know it's a. We actually, I don't think it's agility. I think it's coordination. To be honest about
Oh,
it.
okay.
Um,
I could
but
see that.
but what skill do we think applies to picking a lock? I'm trying to decide why. It tells me how hard it is if you just want to break the damn thing open. But
Which I don't want to do.
right, but it doesn't actually tell me. It's got to be somewhere in here where it tells me what you need to pick the lock. But what do you guys think would be the
I
skill that
guess
makes the most sense?
I would be persuaded by either stealth or engineering.
Yeah, I was kind of feeling engineering. Um, seems to be the closest thing. Um, I think that's the direction we're going to go with.
Okay.
Um, unless anyone has a better idea.
So my kit reduces the difficulty by one.
Correct, which makes it a difficulty zero roll, which means technically you don't have to roll.
Oh, okay.
You can succeed automatically. Now, if you want to go for
Momentum,
momentum, you can make the roll.
but
Of
then I also can get a complication.
true statement.
All right, so I'm just going to use my kit to open up his desk.
Okay, that's fine. So just mark off a use on that,
I will.
and you opened Fuchs' desk.
That's correct.
Very good.
Yeah, because Seidler's getting the key to the other desk.
Okay. Fuchs' desk is very organized inside. There's a stack of writing paper. There's a couple pens. It is very neat. Um, make a make an insight observation, and if you have a sight focus, you can use that.
Okay, I was also going to ask
Yeah.
after the description, um, since Singh is the occultist expert, I was going to ask him to come over and go through the desk with me.
Okay.
Um, all right. So, what kind of role were you talking about?
Insight observation with a sight focus if you have it.
I don't. What I was wondering before we got into this is whether Singh had a better observation than me. Sharif,
Sorry, there's a delay now between when I hit my button and when it actually registers on Roll20. So
So
bear
gotcha.
with me. I'm sorry.
that's fine. Between the two of you, who has the higher insight with observation total?
I think it's him. My
I
insight
think
and
it's me as well.
observation is 11 total, and yours is
1 second. I think it was, what did I say before? 14, I think.
Yeah, because your
something
11
insight
like.
plus
alone, I
3
think, is
with a
11.
focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you do the insight observation roll? And he said there's a focus on sight,
Yeah, if you have it.
and because I always meant for you to go through the desk with me, because you're the arcane expert, not me. But remember, my background is obvious to make sure we're careful we don't touch or disturb too much. We don't want to leave our
So
we don't want to leave our
the appropriate focus is sorry.
would be sight.
site.
I'm sorry, you're totally cutting out. It would be sight, is what I heard.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Uh,
Baker, you can make the roll as well with one die, since you guys are doing it together. That you're basically helping him.
Okay. So it would just be better if I just rolled a die.
Yeah, you can do that. What was your target
20
number?
sided.
11. Yeah, 120 sided.
All right.
2 desks.
Yes, two dice. Difficulty one. Oh wow.
I'm still going through the. In the future, you might have to make these rolls for me, Marty. It's taken me a really long time to. My computer's like 30 seconds slow on every button click.
Oh wow.
So I'm
Okay. So
still
you
going through it here.
but you saw my one die roll.
Yep, I see it.
Okay.
Did it happen?
It did. It did.
Okay,
You
it
had
still
two
hasn't registered
successes.
for me. God,
You did good.
Yep. Which
yeah,
gave
it
you
still hasn't
guys.
come up for me.
Oh wow, really? So that puts you guys up to
Yeah,
four momentum.
Awesome.
there it goes.
So my 2 was a success as well.
It was. Well, yeah, because your target number is 11. So,
Okay.
um, there is shockingly little. Um, there is shockingly little in Fuchs's desk. Um, but when you start to when you flip through the stack of writing paper, um, you actually find a bunch of notes stuck within that, and there's one handout and just some other stuff I'm going to tell you about. Oh, I guess I have to email it to you. That's right, because well, maybe do I have? I freed up some space. I might be able to just pull it over. Let me see here. Give me 1 second here.
You were going to upgrade your Roll20 account. Did you do that?
No, I never did. I never did. I hate to admit.
Oh, I can see it.
I see it too. Awesome.
So there's that note, which for the four people on YouTube or Twitch, I'll read it. It says, "Our Viennese archaeologist friend cannot be trusted. Loose ends must be left untied. I trust I can leave you to deal with the matter to our satisfaction. Retrieve whatever you can find," and it's signed just LM. Um, the but there's more than just that. Along with it are along with it are is a list of books or something along those lines that sing as you look at them. They start with a they start to be I'm sorry, they if you start at the top of the list and make your way down at the very top, they seem to be focused on Egyptology predominantly, but as you move down the subject matter begins to change. There's works on that you would guess are about from pagan Norse mythology, and then there's other works at the bottom that seem to have something to do with Germanic heritage. And of course you've got the handout there, um, and there is also a half drafted letter that says, and I don't know why they didn't give me a handout for this, but it says that a group that I suspect to be British agents have arrived in Vienna and are looking into the archaeologist's death, and that's where it ends. That's all it says. And then there's also one other letter that is also signed by LM that says recovery of the Black Stone and any information about the Book of the Machine is paramount. Several of these pieces of paper that he has also bears an imprint. It or a watermark, maybe would be a better way to put it. It's looks like a paw, like an animal's paw, where the large center pad is a mechanical gear with an eye in the middle of it. Hello?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
okay.
writing. Got to write stuff
Writing stuff
down.
down, yeah. Slim is he's in the hallway. He's got an unlit cigarette dangling from his lips.
Yeah.
and he's got his lighter in his hand as though he'd be like feigning that he needs to like get outside to go take a smoke, and
Yeah.
just kind of lingering in the doorway, looking down the hallway.
Yep. It's at this point it's probably been close to a minute, and you Seidler is at the very far end of the hallway, headed your way.
Oh, Herr Seidler, is it? As he's
He,
coming down.
yeah. He says, yes. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name.
Yes, sir. We haven't met. My name's Valentine, and he says we haven't shook on it, and he puts his hand out,
He says,
and he's
yes.
projecting his voice.
All
Herr
right. Well, look.
Herr Valentine, I do have to tell you again, please, no smoking in here.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I heard you clearly. I was hoping maybe you could direct me to the nearest exit
Oh, he
so that I
says.
could smoke.
He says, sure, certainly. If you can of course go all the way out the front door if you like, but if you pass through that reading room over there, there's a door that opens out onto an outdoor patio. You're welcome to smoke out there.
This one over here, and he like points in the wrong direction.
He says, no, no, the other way, that over there, sir.
Oh, well, golly, could you show me real quick?
Um, uh, yes, yes, absolutely. Here, let me. And he he kind of guides you into the next room and off to this very nice set of glass pane double doors, which he opens easily. They're not locked, and just out here would be fine.
Oh, well, thank you very much, sir. And he
Okay.
takes a cigarette and leans over the railing.
While he's doing that in an obvious fashion, we we will put everything in the desk back exactly the way we found it. I'm taking a special eye to see if there were any, little tiny pieces of paper or tape or anything that might, paper clips, anything that might we might have moved to put back exactly as I found them.
Okay.
Um, and we'll close up the drawers. We didn't go into detail about what kind of desk this was. Obviously, we unlocked it, but was it like a roll top? Did it have a top that lifted? Anyway, we're not. I'm not going to waste my kit to relock it.
Okay.
All right, um, so I'm not necessarily going to relock it, but we'll put it back all the way exactly the way we found it,
All right.
and step away from it.
All right. Before Herr Seidler pops back in after being waylaid by Slim, anything else to add between you and Singh?
Um, just a question, LM. Any ideas?
Ooh, that's
I'm looking through my. Since we saw LM, I've been rifling through all my notes.
yeah. Give me a moment on that one. Um, I think that I think that I know how I might handle that. Give me a moment to noodle over it, if you will. There's something I need to look up real quick,
Okay.
and I will make that decision for you.
All right. Well, you go ahead and do that because I've been looking through my notes to see if there was anything in our briefing or anywhere else that might point. So far,
Oh no, I can promise you that's probably not the case.
well,
Um,
I'm not finding anything in my notes that we even had an inkling of LM. So, uh, I guess basically my question is for Singh, since he's the occult guy with all the connections. That would be the question.
Yeah. Um, uno momento.
Also, Jim's not here. Oh no, you go ahead and do that. I don't. Kyle, while he's doing that, um, Jim's not here. Do you remember Jim's character's background?
Uh, I, I I don't
I had
recall
it written
much of his
down, but I
background.
can't find it.
Yeah, I had it written down as well, but I don't have that on the notepad I have with me.
All right. I don't want to forget him. He's not being, he's not here, so he's not necessarily well represented, but he has talents and other stuff we have to keep in mind.
Yeah. Well, it's a true statement. Um, well, let's just do it this way. Let's just do it this way. The Sharif, you could certainly make a roll, or I can make it for you if you like. If you're having computer issues, um, it would be a excuse me. It would be an insight with probably academia. Um, unless I think there's a better option, but with an occultism focus would work.
Is this to identify the sigil or
Uh,
the LM?
Sharif
Lost him.
just, yeah, Sharif just,
It
Okay.
was it was it was to see if LM the LM appear to be initials. Maybe it jogs his memory of another occultist or researcher or somebody that he knows.
Sure, sure.
So,
yeah. Sharif just texted me that roll 20 is not responding. He probably doesn't even know he's crashed.
all right. Well, it's noon. Maybe we should call it a day. Let me just say where I'm headed on this, so that we can coalesce quickly when we come back next week. I'm thinking maybe he has an insight as to who LM might be from papers, research, meetings in the past. Maybe he doesn't. Um, if he doesn't, we still have the opportunity to question um, Seidler, because my point when he comes back, once we unlock and we get a chance to look at the desk and look at Ehrlichman's work, um, my I'm also going to ask if Seidler noticed him collaborating with anyone else in the club. Uh, is he collaborating with anyone in this room? And there's a chance we might find some delicate or um, elegant way to ask him about the initials LM. So we have that as well. Maybe he knows something. Um,
Well,
so
Singh recognizes the. Singh does not recognize LM.
okay,
And that roll I made for him right there says it's a failure because I screwed up. I accidentally put in difficulty 2 and it's not, it's difficulty 1.
okay,
He did have a success, so he succeeded, but he did have a complication. I'm going to have to think that over a little bit. But, however, what he does recognize is the emblem that is on some of that paperwork.
oh,
That emblem is from a group called Nachtwolfe.
knocked Wolfa.
Yeah, or if you wanted in English, Night Wolf.
Right. Well, I yes.
Yeah. Nachtwolfe is an organization within Nazi Germany that is tasked with tracking down ancient or alien technologies to create Wunderweapons for the Third Reich.
Now this is getting interesting.
And, that's probably not a bad place to stop with the loss of
Okay.
Sharif.
Okay.
Because, yeah, he says his computer's completely locked up. It's not doing anything.
Well, thank you for running for
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for
whatever time we
coming.
could.
I know it was kind of a rough one today, technical issues, but at least we got the story to advance a little bit. Um,
I will write up the same recap here within a couple of days. Get that
cool,
out to Jim.
cool, and I'll this will be a short video, so obviously it'll be less than 2 hours. I'll get it uploaded to YouTube, and I'll send him the link as well as Sharif in case he just needs to catch the last few minutes.
Right on.
So
Hey, Slim did a good job today.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
no, that was smart. That was
Bumping into
well done.
Fuchs, and then I I really like the fact that you role played out the the interaction with Seidler when he came back with the key, rather than just saying. A lot of guys would just say, "Oh, well, I just step up to him and blah 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 blah." You actually went through and did it, so I really like that.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed it.
All right,
So,
cool.
all
All right,
right,
guys. We'll see you next week.
all right,
We'll
yeah.
see you next week.
Send Sharif a message telling him we've adjourned, and hopefully he'll and that he can watch the video.
Yep,
All right,
I'll do it.
all right,
All
cool.
right, take it easy, guys.
Take care, guys.
Bye.